So, what do you see when you look in the mirror? Do you see someone you can put your trust, admiration, and faith in? Or do you see someone who is always making mistakes and failing to meet expectations? The truth is that who you see has little to do with what you are visually looking at in the first instance. Whatever you believe about yourself is entirely dependent on what the little voice in your head is saying about you at any particular time. You have a sense of self-worth when you have that tiny voice in your head that is continuously judging you in everything you do. Your self-worth can be your best friend or your worst enemy depending on your circumstances. This post is for you if your sense of self-worth does not always think you worthy of being loved and respected. Here's how to boost your self-esteem and learn to put more trust in yourself. 1. Give yourself time to develop confidence in your abilities. Your sense of self-worth is determined by your level of confidence in your own abilities to achieve a goal. When you are asking for a raise or promotion, you can have a strong sense of your own worth. When you are requested to give a presentation in front of a large number of people, it is possible to have a sense of low self-worth. Your ability to put your faith in oneself is directly related to your level of comfort in the activity you are engaged in. Most of the time, you're not going to feel completely at ease in every scenario. There are going to be situations in which you will need to rely on yourself because you have gained confidence in yourself over time. For example, you may not have been overly confident in your abilities when you initially started your work, but you have come to appreciate your worth as time has passed. You realize from your experiences that you have a lot to offer, and there are a lot of companies who will be interested in what you have to offer. 2. Recognize that what you are unable to control is not your fault. Your sense of self-worth is based on your perception of yourself. Make certain that this remains the case. Relationships with others should not be a source of your self-worth or determine how you feel about yourself. Another way to look at it is to control what you have control over in your life. You have some control over things like effort and attitude, but you have no influence over how other people react to you. While it may be difficult to believe, the majority of the reactions you encounter in life are completely unrelated to you. That individual is almost always going through something in their own life, and they are trying to figure out how your actions affect them. What if they were simply having a bad day, and you happen to be in the wrong location at the wrong moment as a result of your presence? There will be instances when you apply for a new job, and you will not even be invited for an interview with the company. You begin to question whether or not you are qualified for the work, and you consider whether or not you should revise your resume in some way. It is normal for you to turn your attention inward. We all internalize rejection and believe we are to blame for our circumstances. On the other hand, I can personally attest to the fact that I have witnessed organizations offer openings online for internal candidates who had already been selected. Only because they were obligated to do so by law did they put the position on the internet. Consequently, once they had received a small number of applications for the position, they would close the position and hire their inside candidate. There was nothing you could do to improve the circumstance, including your CV, cover letter, or salary needs. It was not your decision to be in this position, and there was nothing you could do about it. That is why you must resist the temptation to allow external events to diminish your sense of self-worth. The tendency to internalize everything results in the assignment of blame in situations where there may be none. 3. Designate a certain time for taking action. There is a delicate balance that must be struck between preparation and action. While you do not want to be caught off guard in a circumstance, you also do not want to procrastinate by overanalyzing the situation. You will find that the longer you go without doing action, the more arguments your mind will come up with to justify your continuing inaction. If you want to enhance your confidence in yourself, you should devote some time to researching your objectives. Understand the length of time it should take to complete the task, as well as some of the obstacles that individuals frequently encounter, and how to overcome them. The confidence you feel in yourself will grow as a result of the time and effort you put into preparation. Your goal is to use this information to develop a roadmap that is similar to theirs in terms of success. Each article, encounter, or situation you read about provides you with yet another reason to believe that achievement is attainable. You are now in a position of strength, and you should take advantage of it. It is no longer an issue of if it is doable, but rather a question of when you will go ahead and accomplish it. You have developed a tried and true strategy that is guaranteed to produce the outcomes you desire. Once you have the system in place, the only thing left is for you to put it into action. Setting a deadline for taking action is critical because you can know what you should do, but still fail to do it. And, as I've already stated, if you want to overcome your fear and self-doubt, you must take steps to accomplish this. Taking action is the most effective method to demonstrate to others that you have what it takes. 4. Encourage yourself to think positively. To build confidence in yourself, make sure you speak to yourself in a positive and supportive manner. It is never acceptable to say things like "this always happens to me," or "I can never get it right." When you create negative statements about oneself, they become self-fulfilling prophecies, making it difficult for you to believe and trust in yourself. Instead, use phrases such as "he is working on this," or "that can happen to her every now and then." Did you notice that I use the third person to describe myself? Before you dismiss me as insane, allow me to explain. According to research, the manner in which you engage in self-talk is really important, and the greatest method to speak to oneself is in the third person. This allows you to create a small amount of separation between yourself and your ideas. Make anxiety into excitement by changing your attitude. According to research, adjusting your perspective on anxiety might help you feel more confident and self-assured. The majority of you have been taught that you should try to calm down before your important meeting with your boss, but you should regard your anxiousness as an opportunity to learn something new about him or her. This tip reinforces the notion that there is nothing inherently good or bad about anything. Rather, it is all about how you react to it. It is important to remember that telling yourself to calm down when you are feeling anxious about a specific action you are about to take is playing into the hands of your self-doubt. Like an alternative, if you convince yourself that you are eager, as an athlete or performer might before a big event, you are preparing yourself for triumph. 6. Fail and fail frequently. Failure and trust are inextricably linked, which may seem counterintuitive, but hear me out. If you are failing, it signifies that you are placing your faith in your own ability to take action. I am a firm believer that failure is a necessary part of the success equation. Consider all of the highly successful people in your life, or your favorite superhero movie, or any movie for that matter, to get you started. Your main character will have setbacks on their journey to success, and they will need to recover from them. They will be confronted with the decision of whether to continue or give up. That is one of the primary reasons why most people enjoy watching movies. Your chance to live vicariously through their mistakes, share their heartbreaks, and enjoy their achievements is now available to you. Now, take a moment to consider the difficulties that a main character faced throughout one of your favorite motion pictures. A point will come when you will be able to discern that they are concerned about the future. A situation where individuals believe failure is an unavoidable consequence, regardless of the improvements they make or how many times they try. They usually try to move on and live a less fulfilling life after feeling defeated, but something always draws them back into the fight. Those feelings of insecurity and self-doubt are something you will experience at some point during your journey. You should choose to get up and try again when you are faced with the decision of whether to move on or retool. The greater the number of times you can fail in a single day, the more confident you should be that success is on the way. This is why your sense of self-worth is so important. If you believe that failure is a part of who you are, there is no reason for you to continue your endeavor. The results are what they are, and there is nothing you can do to change them or influence them. However, if you believe that the outcomes are an indicator of a lesson that you need to learn, you will have the opportunity to make necessary adjustments and grow as a consequence of your efforts. 7. Make an investment in yourself. Those who have attempted certification and failed the first time can conclude that they need to improve their comprehension of the ideas contained in that certification. This could entail hiring a tutor, participating in a study group, or purchasing a more comprehensive study guide. According to our movie analogy, if you were defeated in the fight, you may need to improve your strategy, combat skills, or weaponry to win again. I'll use Thor Ragnarok as an example to illustrate my point. Thor is the god of thunder, and his hammer, Mjolnir, is the weapon of choice for him when it comes to combat. He may utilize it to assist him in channeling lightning, flying, or simply hitting someone in the face with it. It is reasonable to wonder why he placed such a high level of confidence in himself and his abilities. When Hela breaks Thor's hammer, he believes that all of his skills are bound to the hammer, which causes him to become delusional. It turns out that he had little to no confidence in himself, and that all he had was a hammer. The rest of the film is dedicated to Thor overcoming his inner demons, and gaining the resolve and power to continue on his path of redemption. Many studies have demonstrated a clear correlation between exercise, self-esteem, and overall performance in a variety of activities. You may have observed that the struggle with the question, "Can I trust myself?" is a recurring motif in Marvel films. Tony Stark experienced the same issue, believing that his armor transformed him into Iron Man. Peter Parker, in the film Homecoming, gets an updated costume, which, you guessed it, he was under the impression that the outfit transformed him into Spider-Man. Captain America's costume was a little changed, but overall, it was the same. I could go on, but I think you get the point. I'm sure you do. Each of us has a hero inside of us who is wrestling with the question, do I have what it takes to be a hero? So, what's the takeaway from all of this? Do not make the mistake of putting all of your faith in your financial investment. Whether it's an instructor, a study guide, or something else, the idea is to properly prepare yourself so that you can be successful in your endeavors. Concluding remarks. Recognize that everyone has confidence in the appropriate situation, and that everyone has self-doubt in the incorrect context to get things started. Examine your confidence levels in different situations to see if you can identify why one circumstance is so high and another so low. Take the necessary steps to increase your self-worth and build trust in your areas of development, and then stick with it. Just keep in mind that developing confidence in yourself takes time, and you must be patient and persistent in your pursuit of it. If you enjoyed the content of this video, click the subscribe button so you can receive more content like this every week.